Hey guys, so I want to show you what I've been up to because it's a big project, lots of fun. So as you can see here, I've removed the drive shaft going to the front diff and the rear diff. Got my cousin coming. He's helping me screw around under here. Let's see, we've got a nice new transmission jack. Over here, this guy's transmission, that gigantic jack piece of metal. This guy right here, I don't know what that's called. That comes out of the transmission, that does something important. And it goes up there in that hole, and it's really nice. There should be instructions like basically put on it. You just basically turn it like a quarter turn and pull it out, and then there's some plastic thing on the end there, so you might be like, why isn't it coming out? You just gotta turn it around a bit and it comes out. Basically go around your transmission and disconnect all these wires, and yeah, I have no idea where they all go and what they're all for, because I'm just having fun. And they all are different. You can see just these, they're all different. This is a manual transmission, so it is super simple compared to what I was looking at like automatic transmissions. There's a whole bunch of other sensors and the things that are hooked up to them, which you can find on YouTube. I took off the skid plate here that went across there. It's sitting right over there. Super easy, just 4 bolts. Now what our next thing that I'm having trouble with is we've got to figure out a place for the jack on the transmission. I don't want to take off the transfer case because then, you know, you can see there's some sort of a seal. I have bought one that I think is for it. But either way, you can just buy caulking, not just normal caulking, but you can buy a gasket maker at any Canadian Tire or whatever. So that's simple. I don't think I changed the oil on this guy. Probably a good time to. In fact, I haven't emptied it yet, so thanks for reminding me of that, guys. That runs the drive shaft for the front. That runs the drive shaft for the rear. Nice thing is my truck's a half cab, or crew cab, sorry, and a 6-foot bed, so I don't have, it almost looks like that, but that's upside down from what it would look like. For if you had a longer truck, you'd have a bearing in the middle, and your drive shaft would be running through that bearing, so that you definitely want to change that. You don't have to, but you might as well, because you're taking it off anyways. So in there is where your starter goes. It sits right along there. You got the cooling tubes that hook into here. So there, I think there's a pump in there, and it pumps the transmission fluid through the pipes and goes to the radiator and cools it and comes back. And you can see, oh look, I snapped the sucker off, because what happened was this is supposed to turn separately from the coolant tube, and that just didn't happen, and so it twisted right off. So what I did is I bought a crimping tool, because right on the other side of this sucker you can see there's a double flare. So I bought a double flaring tool, and I'm gonna have to cut this off. I was thinking just cutting it off somewhere easy to get to. Not there, actually. It might be easier to do the crimping here. I'm gonna have to bend it so it comes down and then over,
and then flare that other end, and then I have a union piece that screws into the nut that's on this pipe, and then the new pipe, screws them in together, and then screwed into that sucker. So I think oh, there's another guy. They're all completely different. This guy right here engages the four-wheel drive. It's got a little pin, and basically the pin just like shoves into a gear, I'm pretty sure, or it turns. Some videos said there was actually nuts on the inside in between the motor and the transmission, but I can't find them. So I'm kind of thinking that, yeah, because it's a standard, it doesn't have them, but I guess I'll find out when I break something. That is the gear shifter up top. So I gotta take that guy off. You can see in here, that guy. See, what I want to do is I want to pull this guy back. There's 2 bolts in there, and then you just unscrew them, and then the thing pops off. But people say you gotta take the thing right off the top of the transmission. I just don't want to do that. Like, there's no reason I see for that, other than it gives you a couple inches for getting it out from under the side of the truck. You can see here, in there, that's where the shifter goes. The shifter's over there, half screwed together. So I'm gonna use some gasket maker. I mean, this is high heat gasket maker, but it doesn't matter. Just goes right there. Put it all around the inside of the screws, and then screw it on. We just shove some paper in there to protect it from all the dirt, and then yeah. So we got this transmission out of here. Thing's huge. Oh wow, that bracket.
We were able to leave the.
What the heck is that? All dirty. Oh look, air's supposed to get through.
Yeah.
Cool, well that's off. You can see under the truck it's pretty, got that bracket off. It's pretty empty down there now. There's the clutch and the flywheel. About to take that guy off. Then we'll get to the main seal. The rear main seal. And then I gotta line all that up. Looks like fun. It was a hell to get it out of there, but hopefully it's not that bad to get it back in. See that super long guy right there? Those are a whole bunch of extensions. I had to buy a couple, and that's my torque wrench. And in here, we just got the transmission back in. Woo! And so we had to, if you ever do this, make sure the transmission is in gear, so when you turn, what happens is there's some the front thing that goes into the engine, the gear goes into the engine. You need to be able to turn it to line it up to the gear inside the flywheel, or sorry, inside the clutch. In between the clutch and the flywheel, there's the brake thing and part of the clutch, and it has gears, and you need to be able to turn it to line it up to get the transmission in. So I screwed that up and stuck it in neutral like an idiot, and you can actually see the greenness of the clutch in there. And so I had to screw on the shifter, which was just totally out of place, but I screwed it on enough to get it into gear. We were able to get it into first gear, which is the best gear to have it in for this, or first low. I think first is good enough. And yeah, and I was able to turn it, line it up, or I had to take the shifter back out, line it up, push it in, and then we had to get that shroud right in the front there. It's got like dowels, but they don't really stay on to it very well, so. And the rest of the bolts are way up there. So that's why we gotta take an extension and shove it through the top here
all the way up. It's like 4 feet to the front. All the way through the top of the transmission up there, and screw in the last two, and then make sure that they're torqued to, I think it was 45 foot-pounds, but we're just gonna basically put it in as hard as we can, and that should be like pretty okay. So we screwed up. All right, we're gonna have to take the whole tranny out again, which sucks. And it's much harder because I don't have a lift, so it's taking 3 times as long. 8 hours. Yeah, the transmission huge. See this guy? That's your clutch. Alright? It's like your brake lines. You got hydraulics going through here. And then you got your little piston here, and that shoves this rod out. Okay? Super important. Mainly, I'm saying this because we messed it up. And there's a bracket that we probably showed you that goes across there. And right here, there is a nub going out this way. If you can see that in there. There's a nub. It's coming out the opposite way that it's supposed to be coming out. We put the bearing on right, but we were in a rush, and so we put the bearing on right, and we put the bearing on backwards, because the bearing is supposed to sit right against that, right there. But right now, it's sitting like this. I hope it didn't mess anything up. And that is super important, because then the hump is supposed to be on the other side, so when that piston with the rod, when you push your clutch pedal in, it pushes down and pushes these in, and when it pushes these in, it actually separates your clutch. I don't think it messed anything up. I think when I pushed down on the clutch, I plugged in the clutch thing just to see if it'd work. I pushed in the clutch, and then all I heard was, I was like, what happened? And it just slid right off, because the bump's going this way, not the other way. So I'm gonna see what I can do tonight, and chances are I'm gonna have to tell my boss that I can't work because I can't make it back to Ottawa from Niagara Falls for Monday if this thing's messed up. Just, we were a bit rushed to get it done and go to bed because it was 3 a.m, and that was a mistake because we messed up. Should have double checked and triple checked like I usually do, but sometimes stuff doesn't go the way you plan. But we did it halfway. We're almost there. Gonna see what I can do tonight. May just pass out, and then you just try again, and obviously you keep putting the puzzle together until it's done, and when it's a done picture, you turn the truck on and drive away. We both kind of just allowed things to be thrown together because we were tired and shouldn't have done that. We both should have probably gone home and slept, and me just realized that I need to call my boss and say I need 1 more day to work on the truck. Disordered, but I like to push my limits, and I think it's a problem for my body. At some point, it's gonna wear it down. But hey, tell you what, you guys now know, don't get that wrong. So when you put things in, take the extra time, look at things 4 times over, and then put it on. If you're rushed, just get a shop to do it. What I should have done is simply invested in a proper lift for the truck. It's not that bad of an investment when you think about the fact that I can work on all my other vehicles and make all this stuff easier. So at some point, if I ever run into doing something this crazy again, which chances are that won't be too far along, then probably invest in one then. Alright, let's see how it goes.
And it does not do anything. Pretty sure when you change the gear, it's supposed to change the gear move. Oh, he did it! He did it! Look at that beautiful big monster truck. It sure is stinky. Well, that's nice. It's changing gears. It works.